you go.
And I finally got to my dream job at Alaska Airlines as a co-pilot of 737s.
And I was actively involved in real estate sales. At the same time, we were doing our own property management company.
I started friendships with the most experienced people in the room, basically.
Yeah, we've always been about relationships. So instead of meeting 1,000 new people, we really focus on building relationships with people we like, because you really first need to get to that stability stage when you have enough income to cover your expenses and you have enough savings.
Hey guys, I have a really exciting guest for you guys today. Alan and Elena both are from the Seattle area, or they at least live in the Seattle area. Alan being a pilot, where struggling, and I didn't know he shares so much about being a pilot that you guys are going to learn in this, that about the industry that I didn't know of. But what's even more special is their journey of becoming real estate professionals. Love the things that they do, the things that they stand for. They even have a book they like to share, and we're going to give it away for free in the notes below. So without further ado, here's Alan and Elena. All right, guys. Well, I want to welcome Alan and Elena here on the show. So, Alan and Elena, tell me more about how you guys got started in real estate. It's been since 2000 that you guys have been real estate professionals. Let's start from the beginning. What were you guys doing before, and how did you even get into real estate?
Yeah, so before real estate, my whole goal in life, my dream was to become an airline pilot. So I spent all of the 90s pursuing that. And along the way, I worked for some airlines that went bankrupt, airplanes got repossessed, paychecks bounced, and so then another job I took, same thing started to happen, so I left that job, and I finally got to my dream job at Alaska Airlines as a co-pilot of 737s. And a lot of the captains along the way always said, don't ever, once you start making the big bucks, don't just blow the money. Find a side gig, find something to invest in, because if you're very, very lucky, you'll just get furloughed for 6 months or a year. You'll have little ones at home. It's not a stable job, but if you're unlucky, you're going to lose your job. Later in your career, the airline will go bankrupt, and then you got to start over as co-pilot at the next airline at the bottom of the seniority list. So with that in mind, as soon as I got off probation, we started investing in real estate, and by 2000, that was in 2000, and by 2004 we were bulldozing rental properties and turning them into townhomes, and we pursued that till about 2017, and then we hit our number. We always set goals together, so we were hyper motivated, but we hit our number that we could retire at, but we couldn't retire because there was no cash flow, because we were in Seattle and we had massive equity but no cash flow on that equity. So we started selling those off, the townhomes off, and started investing passively in real estate syndications. And then COVID hit, and some operators that we got to know very well asked us if we'd come along and be general partners, because we used to have a property management company in Seattle, and we understand building development, rehabbing, all of that. So then we like doing both. We are passive investors as well as general partners. So we like it both, but that's how we got started and ended up here.
Okay. So then you pursued your pilot career, Alan, in the 90s, and then when did you start flying in 2000?
No, I started flying way back in the 80s as a kid. I used to ride my bicycle to the airport because all I wanted to do was be an airline pilot.
Right.
I used to clean machine shops so I could make money so I could fly airplanes on the weekends. So after high school, I'd clean machine shops.
Okay. And then when did you start flying for Alaska?
So I started that in 2000.
In 2000. And then when did you guys fully turn to, real estate full time?
So she did the corporate career at Weyerhaeuser.
Yes, I did the corporate career, and then after our daughter was born, it was always a question, do I go back full-time or part-time? Back then, that was 2004, the telecommuting wasn't really an option or working from home.
Right.
So I got my real estate license and started working as a real estate broker.
Oh, wow.
And then after some time, we had the property management company. Then I opened my own brokerage, and I was actively involved in real estate sales. At the same time, we were doing our own property management company. And at some point, we came to the to the point when we had a construction company, property management company, brokerage, and at that time, we were facing an option: either we have to grow and scale our business, or we're going to be working 24/7, 365 days a year, because both of those companies are very time management and effort management involved.
Right.
So that's when in 2017 we started exploring other venues and other options. And Alan started talking to me about the multifamily investing, because my long-term plan was to keep all the rental properties, pay them off so we have no debt, and then keep that portfolio so we can retire. And Alan was analyzing our equity performance, how well our money is actually doing, or is it just sitting as an equity in the house and
Right.
losing the value? So that's how we started looking into apartment syndication and realizing that when we partner up with people who have more experience, who have bigger projects, we actually let our portfolio grow and our money work better for us than us working for our money.
So now, do you guys still have any of the townhomes or any of your own?
We have one eightplex left in Seattle, and it's been 5 years trying to subdivide it into 8 tax parcels.
Yeah.
It used to take 6 months. Now we're 5 years into this one, and
Gosh.
it's
Yeah.
taken 4 years to get 8 new water meters. They're supposed to show up here in May, so as soon as that's
Wow.
done, we're going to start selling those.
Yes, that's
And
all
you can
about
sell
the
those off individually now.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
that's awesome.
to answer your question though, so in 2003, Elena went full time into real estate, and then in 2010, I left Alaska Airlines, took a leave of absence, and basically
Wow.
never went back.
I had no idea that that was the route that pilots take. You either get, lucky to get furloughed, and unlucky you completely get
Yeah,
dropped off.
there's a group of people getting hired right now, more or less right off the street into being pilots, and I'm jealous of that, but I think they're going to miss out on a whole lot of fun of trying to build flight time and going from one job to the next, and it's good character building.
Right, right. Now, when you guys went into, multifamily, how did you decide to choose which group to work with initially? How did you vet people as a, limited partner initially?
Yeah, we went to meetup groups in Texas, and then we ended up in one of those ecosystems. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
So we ended up in one of those, and our biggest thing was just a big gut check. Just who do we know, like, and trust? We look for the more experienced people in the room, and I started friendships with the most experienced people in the room, basically.
Yeah, we've always been about relationships. So instead of meeting 1,000 new people, we really focused on building relationships with people we liked, learning more about them, investing passively in their projects first, and seeing how they do asset management, how communications are flowing with the passive investors. And then we kind of narrowed down the ones we thought we align with, our values align with, our characters, our goals, going for more of under-promised and over-delivered kind of type of strategy. And we started focusing on building relationships with those people. And as in real estate investors who've been active real estate investors, we understand that there always will be some sort of a problems or issues. It's really how general partners resolve those issues, how they address it, how they communicate about it, and what is their style is to be involved and stay in touch with their passive investors, or just be hands off and keep moving on the new project after a new project.
No, that's awesome. That's really good when you can go to events and meetups, I when I first got into real estate, I thought it was just going to be something we do on our own, my wife and I.
That's we started off as very much a solo sport, and it became so much easier once we started passively investing, and the cash flow was better than our townhomes in Seattle. Return
Yes.
on equity, cash flow on equity, was much better.
Yes. And multifamily community is really been amazing. There's so many high quality people and everybody is very open and very sharing. So it wasn't trying to get over some wall or penetrate some environment. It's really a great community and we've learned a lot and we met really great people. But you do have to show up and start going and start learning and asking questions. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, when I first started I joined a group, Jake and Gino, back in
Yeah.
2021 actually, October 2021, and I've met some really great people. Elena, like you said, what were since you guys have been in real estate for so long, what should some earlier investors watch out for? What are some of the pitfalls? You talk about gut checking, right? And make sure you know, like, and trust the people. Were there some mistakes that you guys made that you wish you didn't make that you want early investors to know about?
Yeah, yeah. We invested in one deal where I knew better, but we did it anyways. We still own it. I think it'll be okay. I don't know. Our worst deal to date, well, after it's gone full cycle, it was 16.2% return per year, and that's been our worst deal. And that was after 3 years. Our best deal was doubling our money in 23 months, and these are passive deals. And I don't know, if you're getting a bad feeling, just don't do the deal. If you're up at night wondering about whether or not you should do this one, I'd say wait for the next one. There's tons of deals out there. Maybe not in the next month or two so much, or the last 6 months maybe, but I think there will be more deals coming once interest rates stop increasing. And yeah.
I have a twofold answer. One is that I think investing in single family homes, so in the multifamily, I think we had more regrets about the deals or homes we didn't buy rather than the ones we invested and did badly. And then the other answer I have is that I think lots of things have to align. Don't feel pressure that you have to invest in this particular deal. There is lots of deals out there. So ask a lot of questions and see how all of those questions answered, how the general partner takes or doesn't take time to explain out all those answers and how transparent they are. But one caution I have for passive investors is don't do creative financing. Don't take HELOC or a second mortgage on your home or your rental property to invest in real estate. Understand that some of those might not have a constant cash flow there, that returns would be great at the end, but it might not have a consistent cash flow every quarter. Things might come up, and then general partners might need funds to address some issues on the property or really high insurance or property taxes for the year. So just be mindful that that money is invested, it's not very liquid, and it might not provide constant cash flow right away. So don't build some scheme which one investment property has to pay for the other one. Be very conservative in your approach.
Oh, I think that's great, really, really great ideas to share with people. And thank you for that advice. Because I do hear, you see gurus talking about, oh, yeah, if you got money in your home, just take a HELOC out and invest it in, right? It's going to be safer than just your money sitting there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, people get in trouble.
Yeah, there's several deals where we haven't had cash distributions in probably 6 months. And we're fine with it because we know We know the general partners involved. We know what's going on with the properties. We understand the rates are climbing. It's better to hang on to cash. That's how we got through the 2008 downturn with so many new townhomes. Is we had cash reserves and we had equity. So I'd rather these apartments we invest in hold on to cash and disperse it to the passive investors personally, but
Right,
that
just
could
in
be a
case.
minority. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a couple of properties that are not cash flowing right now. And they paused it a couple months ago and says, yeah, we're going to pause it for about 6 months
Yeah.
and see how things go. And then if all things goes well, then we'll just roll back
Yeah.
and, disperse that money. But if anything new that comes up, they said they're going to need just to have enough cash reserves in the bank. So I'd rather have them do that than disperse the money and then have a capital call later
Exactly.
on, right?
Yeah, us too. It's funny. I used to always chase big returns. That's why we're building townhomes. And then after a while, you just want certainty of the return of your initial investment. And then anything beyond that's really gravy. It's
Right.
kind of funny how your mind flips when you get closer to retirement or wanting to retire.
You want that stability, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking for that as well. Now, tell me about the biggest lessons that you've learned in all your years of real estate. Like 3 things that you wish you knew about or that someone told you about early on.
Well, for me personally, kind of moving to that next level was one first big lesson because I had that picture in my mind, as I mentioned earlier, buying the single family homes, making them on the rentals, and then paying them off. And for me to sell something, I was like hoarding it all up and really trying to control all the pieces. So for me, really being open-minded and learning about going to the next level, now I wish I'd done it earlier and really relied more on going bigger and relying on other people's expertise, other people's money, and other opportunities to get involved and really get my time back sooner than kind of following the path that I created in my mind for myself. I think that was my biggest lesson learned so far.
Yeah, we've been really actively setting goals since about 2005. And ultimately, if you want to succeed in all of this, it's not what you need to do next. It's,
Right.
your 5-year goal is what do you need to become to get to that lifestyle that you're dreaming about. And then, we always, at least I always, way overestimate what I can do in 1 year. But 10 years out, I've completely underestimated every time. Yeah, I don't know, set goals and things are going to happen day to day.
Yeah.
Sometimes the days are going to be very, very long, but the years are going to fly by. And we're right now somewhere around 4,500 units. About 6 months ago, we had somewhere right around 6,000 units. Things happen. Trees fall on, a 16-plex. A fire will happen and take out a 16-plex. Things
Right.
just happen. And most of our apartments that we're passive or active in are over 200 units in size. And you get 200 tenants, things happen, and don't get wound up around the axle when the tree falls. Just fix it. And as a GP, you have duties, but as an LP, you're like, hey, thanks for letting me know.
That's it.
Let's fix it. Yeah.
How do you guys, when you talk about, leveling up or going to the next level, right? How are you guys setting your goals every year? Is there, do you go by, hey, we want a percentage growth, or how do you do it?
We don't count units, or we don't have a goal of, we want to add 2,000 units this year, because then I think that's going to lead to just doing something stupid to reach an arbitrary goal of I got to get 2,000 units, so I got to get in these deals.
Right.
So we go away for the month of December to some place that we love to go to, and separately we write our own goals for the next year. Our 5 and 10 year goals are pretty much set in stone, I think, what we both want. And then sometime in early January, we swap each other. You know, I give her my goals, she gives me hers, and then we go through and then we prioritize the whole year. So I can tell you where I'm going to be in October this year, you know, because we made a goal. It's in, some things are in Sharpie on a calendar. It doesn't have to be a fancy calendar, just print one off of an Excel spreadsheet kind of thing and tape it to the wall in a bunch of, 12 pieces and start filling in your priorities.
Where's October? You mentioned October. What's happening?
We'll be in hopefully Italy for most of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think their strategy about the goals really depends what stage in life you're at. Because
Yeah.
at some point, our goals were to reach certain capital number or monthly income. Because you really first need to get to that stability stage when you have enough income to cover your expenses and you have enough savings. And then when you go in more to their success stage of your life, then you're really not focusing as much on their percentage growth as on personal growth, as really, as Alan mentioned before, who you have to become, what kind of habits you need to have to really be the person who making all of that income, and then how it gets distributed. What are you saving in your family trust? What are you allocating to helping others and supporting other big goals and things you really have to express yourself and achieve in your life? Because at some point it's not about percentage growth or how much more money you can make. It's really about how more you can give back, how you can help others to grow. So for us, really, this year it's all been about educating more passive investors and others about how to grow yourself and how to grow your finances to achieve their financial freedom and get your time back. I'm really passionate about getting time back so you can do more with stuff you enjoy, because otherwise, what's the point of creating all this wealth but not having time to enjoy
Not having
it all?
enough time, huh? How do you
Yeah.
guys educate your passive investors or people about
Yeah, so
what you guys do?
yeah, locally we have a meetup once a month in Bellevue, Washington,
Uh-huh.
and then in May we're going to have a live class, and we're going to record it.
Yeah.
Basically, what to watch out for as a passive investor, how to passively invest, some underwriting tips, that kind of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about goals in that. And then we're going to have it videotaped with a quality professional videographer, and then we'll start selling the courses.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. So you guys are doing a course, and you guys also have a book, right?
Yes, Alan just co-authored a book. It's called Next Level of
Yeah,
Your Life.
Next Level of Your Life. There's several of us. It's Kyle Wilson. He's just a great guy, and he gets a group of people together about every year. And in this case, it was people that continually, we all had to next level our lives to get to our next plateau. And then we had to figure out, well, where do I want to go from here? So I kind of talk about my life story in that book and the thought processes of why I wanted to next level my life and keep growing.
How do people get that book? Is it on, where do they buy it?
You can still buy it on Amazon, but we actually have a free download for your listeners on our website.
Okay.
It's
What's your website?
It's andoverholdings.com.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll make sure to put that in the notes on the bottom.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. So now, are you guys part of different masterminds, or you mentioned Kyle Wilson?
Yes,
different
we
groups?
love Kyle Wilson. He's been working and spending part of his life with great people like Jim Rohn and others. So we go into his inner circle in months of May. And we also love traveling to Texas and attending the conferences. They're like Old Capital and Real Estate Guys and other real estate events.
And we like old school wisdom.
Yes.
So through Brian Buffini, he's a coach mainly for real estate agents, but he's kind of branched out to businesses. When I was building townhomes, his group of coaches helped me out a lot through the dark problem days when things came up. And he introduced us to Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and a guy named Les Brown. And ultimately,
Yeah.
I found out that Kyle Wilson and Brian Buffini are close friends. So I'm like, I got to meet Kyle now.
Yes.
So, yeah, we just, I love going to YouTube. I'll put a Jim Rohn video on in my car and, I'll put my phone upside down so I'm not watching it, but I'll listen to it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I love that old school wisdom.
Yeah.
There's
I,
really
I,
nothing
I don't
new.
like the jump
Yeah.
up and down, let's go now, 10x stuff. I'm like, that's just not for me.
Right. I love listening to Les Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Les Brown. You got to be hungry. Yeah,
That's it. That's it. It just energizes you, you know?
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
I need that or more coffee. Yeah.
So tell me if you guys can like to share. What's your 5-year goal? What's 5 years look like for you? The next 5 years.
The next 5 years, I think we really are kind of looking forward building the community of investors and building the community of people who share similar values and goals to create legacy. We call it more legacy wealth. Something you can create and build, which you can not only share with your kids, but also in the process teach them about recreating it and continuing your own legacy and the family legacy. And also being able to travel around the world. We're really passionate about spending winters in Hawaii now and then enjoying beautiful Pacific Northwest in the summer. And what else in our goals?
Yeah, 5 years is we like doing the legacy wealth. We like longer term holds. We like the deals where the plans to refinance the property and give the investors back the lion's share of their investment, but not dilute their shares or equity. I just think that's a bad idea. And just, give back to them, and then they can choose to reinvest it, hopefully in one of our deals, but it doesn't have to be. But then ultimately, you just get a snowball going with the same money. And the younger you are when you start this, or you're younger, you get your kids on this path, you end up with infinite returns. We're kind of on infinite returns when you look at, we started by borrowing $10,000 from my mom to buy our first house.
Wow.
And I was like 32 years old. And, we paid her back right away. But, we put much more money than that into it. But when we look at where we started and where we're at now, we're kind of proud of what we've achieved.
That's awesome.
And we want others to enjoy the same success and have the biggest time Elena brings up is the free time to enjoy it. That's the
Right.
hardest part, is getting off this rat race.
So now that you have this free time, what does your week look like now? Like say, and I'm sure every week's different, but what does a week look like? When you wake up Monday, you hop on a podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
what else do you guys like to
this is
do?
great.
What's the week like?
Oh, this is funny. We need a bunch of K1s, like 30 of them.
Yeah.
And some investments, she'll invest with her 401k, I'll invest with my 401k, and then we'll put more money in it from a joint bank account or something. Deals we love we'll go bigger in. So we need 30K1, so I'm trying to organize which ones are here, which ones aren't, and follow up. We just assume we're going to file taxes late every year. Now we file an extension, it's no big deal, or our accountant does. So I have that going on, but then Thursday, I got my other childhood dream besides flying was racing cars. So finally I have free time to enjoy doing that. So my daughter wants to get into it too a little bit. So we're going to the racetrack on Thursday.
You take your own car out there?
Yeah, I'll take my own car, and our daughter will be like in a school's car with an instructor.
What do you take out there? What do you have?
I have a Porsche 911.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I love doing that.
I was
Yes.
doing that, got into that a few years ago. Just doing it initially. I had a WRX. Then I got a Lancer, the
Oh
Mitsubishi
yeah,
Lancer, and got into that for a few years, and then picked up a Miata and joined a Miata club.
that's what I did. I went through that. It's like Miata, Porsche. And it
Yeah,
was my childhood dream. You know, you're on your paper route looking at the rich guys in their Miatas, or not their Miatas, their Porsches in their driveway, the big whale tails from the 80s.
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
love those
The
Porsches.
911s are definitely better. That's one of my dreams as well.
I
No
know.
doubt.
So I went the 911 route.
There you go. That's a smart move.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about going. There's a local race league here in Seattle called Pro 3, and it's BMWs from the 80s to 90s.
Wow.
And you have to gut the interior, put in a roll bar, keep the engine stock. And
Keep the
so
engine stock.
so it's a very competitive league because everybody has the same engine more or less.
Yeah.
So there'll be like 30 cars, and they're all packed in one group fighting for position. And
Right. You're pretty much hauling that car. You're not driving to the racetrack.
yeah, that car, that's the problem. We don't have room in our driveway for a truck and a trailer,
No, we
and
don't have room.
she's against it. So
Elena's like, we don't have room. We just don't have room.
this is where you got to pick your goals. So I enjoy the track days I do, and the Porsche I don't race it because I don't want people to bang into me.
Right.
But yeah, so sometimes you have to adjust your goals.
Yeah. Track days are fun. You know?
I love
You
track
gotta-
days. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta love it. Awesome. What about you, Elena? What's your week look like?
My week, well, I'm still active in the real estate sales. So
Okay.
I have clients I love helping with, and in the last 20 years, it's kind of really been working by referrals and continuing working with the clients' kids, their friends, family members, and yeah, so that's been really fun. And I think early in the week, we do a lot for apartment syndications in terms of investor communications, our newsletter, planning the next meetup. And then the second part of the day, I work with the real estate clients. And on the weekend, we love hanging out on the boat and having our friends over. And now, hopefully, the weather will start
Yeah.
improving in Seattle.
Crazy.
So it will be like really enjoyable boating season. So, but right now, being general partners, we're actually busier than we've ever been. So passive investing is much more fun and nicer in that way because you can really be passive and not involved a lot. But we're really learning a lot being general partners and enjoying delivering information and returns to our investors too. So
Of course.
that's kind of been both blend of both worlds for us right now at the moment. Yes.
Yeah, it's not all fun and games and racing cars, but yeah, I'm trying to get the course finalized that we're going to be teaching, and then practice all of that and stay on top of the properties that we're GPs on. So I think I have like 7 or 8 Zoom calls this week for the properties that we're GPs on, and I'll have to go to Cleveland, Ohio here in middle of. Actually, we're in the middle of April here. No, I think it's next week I'm going.
Yes.
Okay. Already.
Yeah,
The month's coming in
what
fast.
happened? It's the 10th. Yeah, in like 10 or 12 days I gotta go to Cleveland.
Right. Well, now I want to ask you guys a few like last minute. We call these rapid rounds questions. The first one is, what keeps you guys up at night right now, or is there anything that keeps you guys up at night?
I don't.
Lately, no. I used to not sleep very good at all, and I've learned that if something's keeping me up at night, I either fix it right away, or if it's a deal that we're thinking about being a GP on and I'm up at night going, I don't know, I just say, forget it, and I just say no.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the next question is, what are 3 misconceptions about you guys when people first start meeting you?
Misconceptions about us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you'll have to ask other people. Uh,
Um,
I honestly have no idea. I never talk to people about what they think about me.
I think the only misconceptions I can see people could have about somebody investing in the multifamily, because we're already at the level where we're at, that it's just very quick and easy, but it's a long of hard work and it all takes time. It's not a quick and easy game. It's
Right.
all kind of builds up to the level where you get there. And there is a saying that success comes in overalls, wearing overalls. It's just, yes, you have to, in our mind and in our experience, it did involve a lot of hard work
Yeah,
to get there.
there's like two paths to get somewhat to where we're at. One path is you get hired at a great company and they give massive stock options and you work long hours at that company and then hopefully you can retire with a fairly significant net worth. The way we did it, we built and grew and worked and there's been many, many, many 16-hour days in my life working. And like when I was building townhomes, I'd fly all night for the airline, and then I'd come home, go to the job site, unlock it, and then I'd go back to bed, I'd sleep, and then I'd get up, check on the job site, and then I'd go back to bed and sleep some more, because, you gotta get sleep in. So and then I'd fly all night.
Again.
I do that like three nights in a row. I go to Anchorage and back. And
Wow.
so there was a lot of long, hard working days to get to where suddenly you have free time. It's not suddenly
So
either.
if people see you driving by in the 911, you want them to know, hey, I work for this. It didn't just fall into our lap here.
I know. Yep. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's a big misconception when people who have success, other people who don't have it, and they look at it and they're like, oh, they got it so good. It must have been easy. Maybe they grew up different or whatnot,
Yeah.
and think that you didn't have to work for it.
Yeah, it's like, I was on food stamps in junior high, It's like, I came from nothing. Yeah.
Right, right. Now, if you had, this last question, if you only had $1,000 and a laptop right now, and you didn't have anything else that you currently, you started from zero, $1,000 and a laptop, what would you do? How would you
people.
rebuild?
I would meet people.
You'll meet people.
I'd go to a meetup, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this because Elena hates how I say it. I would find the most experienced people in the room, maybe with a lot of gray hair, and I would go meet those people and ask them what life advice they have and how they got. There's some really successful people in these meetups, and some of them don't dress very nice at all. And it's just who they are. They don't need to dress to impress. And those people have the most knowledge, and once you get to know them, they're just open books. I would go meet as many people as you can. I thought real estate was kind of a solo sport, and it wasn't until we got into the apartments that we learned a lot and really grew. Yeah.
I'm still a big supporter of real estate, both as investment and as a profession. So I would take $1,000 and get real estate license.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity to create income, and it really sky's the limit how much money you can make. Probably start with signing for Brian Buffini system as well, building business by referral, and starting to build your database of your clients, of your investors, of people you can learn from, and reaching out to successful people in the industry. But also, to my disappointment, not a lot of real estate brokers invest in the real estate themselves. So I think become the real estate broker who knows about real estate investing, who built their own real estate portfolio. Probably hustle more in the beginning, managing your own properties, dealing with the tenants, and fixing the toilets. But if $1,000 you have to start somewhere. So I would do that route. Again, all over. Probably would be smarter going bigger sooner, but I still think that's a great route.
Yeah, like she said about Brian Buffini, the average real estate agent makes somewhere around 36,000 a year. The average real estate agent and quality coaching like Brian Buffini's, it's somewhere around 360,000 a year.
Yeah.
So your first year you won't make 360, but
And I think
a couple of years into it,
having a coach or having a mentor or having somebody who already worked in the shoes ahead of you and been successful, I think that's very important as well.
Yeah.
So part of that $1,000 probably take out somebody for lunch and pay for it, who you can learn from and talk to them, ask questions, and don't be shy about asking questions. From our experience, all successful people are very eager and very happy to share their experience and give advice, which will apply to you as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That was definitely a lot of good information right there. And I want to thank you guys today for sharing your advice, with the listeners of our podcast. And in the event, if someone wants to reach out to you guys to talk more about your book, to be an investor, right? GP, LP, how do they reach out? What's the best way?
Well, our website is andoverholdings.com. And the easiest email is info@andoverholdings.com. And please reach out, ask us any questions, download the book, and start reading the success stories of other people and how they overcame their hardship and difficulties. And reach out to us with any questions. We're always happy to get on the call with the potential new investors and talk about our projects or our experience, and always happy to connect. And thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you, Alex.
And your questions made me start thinking. I'll need to
I know.
reflect on it some more too. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna listen to this once you upload it so I can think about these questions again.
Right. Elena and Alan, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate it. Love having you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a great day now.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thank you.
You want to watch more videos on our podcast? Click here and here. But isn't it great what Alan and Elena have created for their life? And if you want to read their book, make sure you grab it at the link below. We'll see you next time.